Hello, and welcome back to another video. You probably guessed it, we're sitting and talking again. And before I get started with this video, I probably should mention that the reason I'm doing a bunch of like sit down and talk videos that are air quote easier is just because this upcoming week has a lot more difficult videos. So I'm prepping myself for that. And by difficult videos, I mean they won't look difficult, it's just making gifts and stuff. So there's that. Look forward to it. But today's video, as you probably saw by the title, well, I should say this. The title's probably confusing. Basically, there's a word that I wanted to use that I probably can't use because YouTube would be upset with me, but everyone knows that there's kind of a situation going on right now in the world, and I want to talk a little bit about it. Not about it specifically because it's really upsetting, and I feel like it should be talked about in the sense that it needs to be brought up and people need to, take it seriously. However, for the sake of a Christmas video special, I'm gonna refrain. What I want to do today is basically go over how people can go and deal with it through the holidays, because I feel like the holidays, everyone takes it. I mean, this happened with Thanksgiving, I think, as well throughout the world, where, well, I say throughout the world, there's mainly in the US, okay, mainly in my state where I live, but I feel like a lot of people think that just because it's a holiday, that means that nothing else exists, and it's like, we need to focus on tradition, and tradition is good, and if you have family traditions, that's really important to uphold those, but at the same time, if there's something going on in the world, like there is right now, we also need to be safe and take precautions. So today I'm gonna go over some fun activities that you can do during this time frame, this holiday season, so that maybe you can avoid, putting yourself and others at risk. So that's what I'm gonna do today. Now, I should say as well that these are my personal taste. I kind of tried to write examples that would work for everyone, but at the same time, not everyone, likes the same things. And this list, some people might hear and be like, I don't like any of those things. I'm not doing any of them. I'm gonna go out and hang out with my friends and family during the holidays. I can't, I guess, stop you from doing that, but at the same time, I really highly suggest you try to refrain from that and maybe try to do something fun like on this list here, which again, I have a list. I try not to write lists for videos because it tends to come out better when I just am rambling at a camera, which sounds weird, but the minute that I plan things, when it goes all wrong. But first things first, my favorite thing to do during the holidays, and I usually do this regardless of if there's something going on in the world, is puzzles. And you might be like, puzzles? What? You're starting out with puzzles? And yes, I am. Go to Walmart, pick yourself out of a 1,000-piece puzzle and sit down and do it next to a cozy fireplace. It's everything. It's the holiday season. That's what I describe as the perfect night in during a winter time. Like there's a blizzard going on outside. You're next to a warm fireplace. You have a nice cup of hot tea. I would usually say hot chocolate, but hot chocolate's good, but hot tea is better. Okay, anyway. You should do a puzzle. They're really fun. You can get tons of patterns. You can even order custom ones, which I think a lot of people know that, but if you're like, hey, I love my dog, which my dog is sitting right there. If you're like, hey, I love my dog, you can order a custom one of your dogs so you actually enjoy what you're building in a puzzle, because I feel like that's where people get lost, is they order one of these really big puzzles and then they're like, oh, this is not the design I want, and so then they give up halfway through. Get a custom one. That's something you can do. Next thing I feel like is pretty obvious. I talked about it yesterday. It's Christmas movies. I feel like there's not a single person out there that doesn't have a Christmas movie that they might enjoy. There's thousands of Christmas movies, so you have plenty of time to sit down and watch a Christmas movie. And hey, if you're like, I don't like any Christmas movies, then maybe you haven't seen them all. Go and search on Google free Christmas movies, or try to find something that you can watch. Go rent one. Do something like that, because that's really fun. Again, I enjoy Christmas movies just because I'm crazy about the holidays, so that's me. But if you're not like that, then maybe this isn't for you, and maybe you should try something else out from the list. Next thing, when I was thinking of this list, I just took inspiration from my own videos, which is probably not the best idea, but I did anyway. The next one is baking, because believe me, it takes time. To make over 430 cookies, I think is what roughly the estimate that I got when I made that video. It took 3 days and 5 hours pretty much each day, and a little bit over that even. I don't think that was the proper time. I said that was the proper time. I don't think it was. However, that's always an option as well. And if you're a person that's like, I don't know how to cook, I don't know how to bake, this is your perfect opportunity. You have free time, start learning how to. Just look up guides, look up recipes, try them out. That's what I've been doing. I've been cooking since I was literally, my mom was holding me. I refused to be let down by her, so she was like, here, take a spoon, stir. So I know how to cook really well. Not everyone knows how to cook, so maybe this is the perfect opportunity. Go and buy a cookbook, research it on your phone, Google it. Just Google something you like. If you're like, man, I really like chicken, Google best recipes for different types of chicken. Try out something new. It's always a good opportunity to, one, spend time doing something that's productive and, you can learn something new, and also, two, make something delicious, because, hey, not everything's gonna turn out the best, but one of those recipes is bound to be friggin' amazing. So try it. The next one's it was basically all the ones previous, but in a big mix, which is get into a new hobby. I wrote this one down after writing the baking one / cooking, because I was like, hey, that also brings up a good point. You have plenty of time to cook and bake. You might also have time to do a new hobby. So whether that be getting into video games, starting to read more, knitting, like just anything, any art projects. I've been getting into art a lot this past couple months, and that's pretty much what all my Christmas gifts are now, is art, because I enjoy it so much. So I really suggest you try something new. I feel like people get stuck in this like constant loop of like, I'm not good at something, so I can't do it. And it's like, well, of course you are not good at it. You haven't tried it, or maybe you will be good at it and when you first try it. I remember some things like art I'm not the best at, but I've slowly been improving, I think, and my friends have been telling me. I don't know if that's true, but I feel like I've been slowly improving. But also there's things like cooking in life that, while it has been a slow improvement, I did start off pretty good. But something always you can consider. Try getting into a new hobby, even if it's something you think that you know would be bad at. Just try it, because hey, worst thing you're gonna do is you're gonna spend your time productively trying to do something new, and then you're gonna go, oh, I'm not the best at it, or oh, I don't enjoy it, and then you can just do something else and try something new. The next one I wanted to put down is for mainly like group things, because I realize now that I was writing this list, a lot of these things are solo activities. You could do it with some like family members and stuff like that, but a lot of people, their issue with the holidays is that you're not near someone or you're not around someone, so they tend to go to like crazy busy places, and that's how this, you know, I feel like that's how this is continuing for so long. So I wanted to come up with something that maybe is for those people that want to have social interaction but they can't, or they can but they just maybe shouldn't, which is like stuff to do in video calls or like group chats type things, because that's all I do with my friends. I've never really had a ton of personal, like in-person connections with people. I've never been very social. However, online, I'm a completely different person. Hence the YouTube videos, like you kind of get it, I probably assume. If you met me in real life, I'm really shy, but online, I'm like, hey, how's it going? That's me, because I'm so comfortable online and I hang out with all my friends online, so I've got, you know, kind of used to being myself when I'm talking, even if it's just to a camera or a microphone or whatever. But these things you can obviously still do. A lot of things you can still do, even if you can't be in person with people. So I wrote a few of those down. The first one I wrote down is kind of ties back to some of the other ones, which is like watching movies or watching TV shows. My friends recently, we've been in this habit of like getting into like series together, and that's not necessarily like just movies or just TV shows, but also just like YouTube videos. There's really good series out there that you can find of like people playing video games, and you can watch them as friend group together and get connected, or you can watch Christmas movies together, have a marathon, watch all the, I know one chat that I was in a long time ago, they literally sat down and watched every single like Marvel movie in chronological order. I don't know how they did that. I wasn't a part of it. I wish I was, but that's something you could do. You could just sit down all in a group call. There's tons of apps to do it. There's Skype, I think has screen share. Discord definitely has screen share. There's tons of things out there to use, and there's also like Zoom and stuff, which I have never really used Zoom. I think I used it once, but there's always that option too. Another one is like having a study session or a group study session. So this ties back into the hobby one. If you're like, hey, I want to get into a new hobby, I want to do art, or I want to do, you know, I want to learn a language maybe. You can sit in group calls with your friends and do this. And I know some people get easily distracted, so this might not be for you, but for me personally, when I was doing art, two of my friends are artists and they're really good, so something that helped me was being in a call with them and hanging out while we all just drew. So there would be times where we were just sitting in a call literally for hours, all of us like almost dead silent, and just drawing and just doing that for like a couple hours, improving, you know, having fun like that. You could also tie into the next one, which is music session, or like hanging out and listening to music. You could do the same thing. So maybe you're doing art together and you have like a music thing. There's usually different types of apps you can use for this, but on Discord there are bots that you can add to your servers to be able to play music. So if you want to listen to music all together, there is that option too. Or again, screen share your YouTube and show people new music. This isn't just for like background. I also find it really fun to listen to music with new friends. So if my friend has told me, oh man, that one song you showed me is really good, I have a really bad habit of spamming them with tons of music, and they're like, please stop, I need to breathe, and I'm like, no, you cannot breathe, I'm showing you tons of K-pop, and they're like, no, I'm okay, and I'm like, it's a bad habit of mine. Maybe this quarantine I should get out of the habit of doing that. That should be my new project. Okay, anyway, moving on. Next one I thought was really fun and cute and I wanted to do. This is my #1 date idea. So if you have a significant other you're living with, or you're living with your husband or wife, or you're living with whoever and you want to do this, I really suggest you do. First of all, why haven't I thought of this sooner? But pillow forts. Why hasn't anyone been making pillow forts? I haven't seen much of it on social media. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's because I'm a loner and no one friends me on social media, really. But I haven't seen people making pillow forts, which is really fun. You just take tons of sheets and blankets. It could be your comforter off your bed, for just an example, and you can put them all up. And then if you have laptop, or if you have like your phone or your iPad or your tablet of some sort, you could prop it up and sit underneath a pillow fort and watch movies in a cozy pillow fort. Nothing else needs to be said. Continuing on. Next two are the last two that I came up with, and these kind of go hand in hand. I just named them different things because they are different things, but they're just game marathons. So if you're a person like me and your family has just stockpiled board games and card games over the years, you can have just a day where you dedicate to playing board games and card games. This is more so for people who have I have a big family. I have 5 people in my family and we all live together. So if you have a big family like me, try to organize a day where you're like, hey family, I know we all don't hang out a lot because we're all socially awkward and we all work 24/7. However, this one particular day there are 2 hours that we do not all work and we could all hang out. And so then what you do is you just grab your favorites. This is something actually my mom and my sister did a ton during quarantine, during the early months of it, and I really want to get back into because I feel like it's fun, even if you're a really busy person and you have stuff that you need to do or you want to do, like say me, I always like doing YouTube, I want to work on art projects, I can be busy sometimes. However, I can still pull out an hour of my day just to go downstairs and play like a couple rounds of Uno, or play a couple games of like Bananagrams or Sorry. Like I can do that. And same goes, again, it could be card games or board games, whatever your preference is. So that's my last thing. Hopefully you did enjoy this. I know it's probably a weird video. It's me rambling. I know some of it's gonna be chopped up weird just because I have this mouth issue right now and I can't really go into it because I don't really even know what's happening, but basically it hurts to talk for too long. So I've been trying to ramble as fast as I can. I still recorded for almost 15 minutes, but hopefully you did enjoy. We'll see you tomorrow on day 16 where I have something special planned. Hopefully it works out. We'll see. But yeah, hope to see you then and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. I was wondering why it was so dark. I forgot to turn on my ring light.